Hey, this is video 2. What was the point of video 1? Vertical works, Lahaina fire. The point is that I made that trip to work on business strategy, develop a training program for SOF, and upon landing, we had to adapt to a new plan. We had to innovate solutions on the fly immediately in a high risk and a kind of a high stress situation. We had to innovate solutions. We had to problem solve for company methods and for end users that needed help. And we used a whiteboard. Why a whiteboard? Whiteboard's integral to planning, in my opinion, because it makes concrete what it is that you're conveying. You put it on the board, everyone that's present can read the board, can see exactly what you're thinking. You can revise it, you can edit it, you can erase it, you can start over, or you can agree on it and move forward. So that's why whiteboarding to me is such a fundamental thing. Point of this video is bring a hammer. Bring your biggest hammer. That phrase is something that ingrained in me from my Nike innovation boss, Tinker Hatfield. Highly recommend watching the Netflix Art of Design episode on him. It's totally spot on. Probably be more stories about Tinker and my experiences with him and there down the road. But bringing the biggest hammer you got. Sometime around 2005, 2006, when I was working in Nike Innovation, reporting to Tinker, his brother Tobie was mentoring me, who's just a legend in the development side, engineering side, in Nike Innovation, product creation. I had taken over kind of the lead dog position on the Special Forces booth that we were developing. I was a year or so into that. I'd gone through the Special Operations community, the SWAT community, had found myself working with Delta Force, the premier Special Operations unit on the planet, whatever heat you want to give me for that. But it's definitely, for lots of reasons we can talk about later. But because that project was kind of out of bounds for Nike, it was not attached to any official category, it didn't have a budget. By the time I had landed a relationship with Delta and was going to the compound, spending a lot of time out there, it's because Nike founder Phil Knight had blessed the project. He had said, get Delta whatever they need. And so I had kind of carte blanche on resources. I had, anybody that I could get to contribute to the project, building combat equipment, various things that we were doing, visual acuity training. A lot of things happened over time. But after it was blessed, after we had gained some ground, after we had built the relationship, then I needed to start reporting to Nike CEO at the time, Mark Parker, at least keeping him apprised of where we were with the project, because I didn't have a category leader to report to on it, to kind of keep me in check, shall we say. So my first meeting with Mark, I knew Mark and Tinker had gone back from the beginning as friends, and had been on a long journey together in that organization. And so upon getting greenlit to go meet with Mark and download and kind of brief him on where we were with the project at the time, I went to Tinker and I said, should I bring Tobie to this meeting? Should I go to this meeting alone? What do you recommend? You know Mark. And he said to me, is it an important meeting? I was like, yeah, it's our CEO. And he goes, well, take the biggest hammer you got in your toolbox. I always recommend that. And so I said, so I should bring Tobie. And he's like, if you think that's a good hammer to bring it. And I said, absolutely. But probably the biggest hammer I should bring is probably you. And he said, well, if that's the case and you think that's the case and this is important, I'd be happy to go. So I brought 2 big hammers to that meeting. And the point is, it went great, because those big hammers had a great relationship with the CEO, obviously. So it made my job a lot easier to just not have to carry the weight of carrying the whole meeting. And I got to do what I do well, and that's present and brief on what was important at the time. But the point of bring the biggest hammer you got as a phrase is not only did I learn that lesson early on in my career, that I utilized it and made use of it many times since. And as I advised and consulted with people and found myself with people I was trying to bring along and bring forward in important meetings, anything that was critical, I would always recall that as a point of view that was valuable. And every time I ever encouraged anyone to do the same, it was always with good results. So there you go. Always bring your biggest hammer. Thanks. I'll see you for the next video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you like anything about it, share it with somebody. Appreciate you. Thanks.